You are watching FSL.
Alright, well, he does 1 supply damage, which is not bad. And when I say not bad, it means Ceres is like, oh, I need another depot. Maybe Ceres gets super extra defensive. But look, Tristan
gets met by an Archon and shoos it away. Like there's a, I think yeah, the Terran is really strapped for gas. He has a lot of minerals, but he needs gas. He could probably do well in supplementing his stores with some hellbacks.
We know for sure we can't go. That's not really overextending, it's just keeping your players, the opponent honest. Like, do you really have anything in there? Because you guys are fast, right? Your units are fast. The lings are certainly fast. You can always escape. So that maybe that's on great to kind of just kind of send it to you.
Defensive now. Then he thinks that Dark Menace is coming with the timing push. Dark Menace decides to go for a third. So, which is smart.
Tony, come up, come up.
I can't respond to that, there's 2 of them there.
Alex, Tony, let's help out up there. With the carriers on the top left.
Oh, there you go. Alright, so I'm looking forward to see some of the cool builds and strategies you're planning on bringing out. So, alright, we're going to get started. You're going to be server definitely muted. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's the
Side of the map.
Okay.
Reserved, right? His side of the map. And you know, in terms of eco, he's 11 workers ahead, which is fantastic for a Protoss.
But
And
maybe,
yes,
but I think he's a little bit oversaturated, is he?
Sorry,
Wow.
we can stop complaining about the ping anymore because it's a non-existent factor here. Right? They both have the same disadvantage. This is dangerous.
Enough though. DLS Mizel.
This
Oh
is
man,
dangerous.
I get I
mean,
Yep.
like the harassing. If you could just like smooth it out and actually add on your production a bit faster, you'll notice a huge difference in like win rate very quickly. Because harassing and like actually doing a lot of damage like this is like a very high level thing.
Yep.
So
Honestly, this game is,
Competitive, right?
yeah, this is pretty competitive. You know, Little Reaper wasn't building probes for a long time, so even though he did a ton of damage, he's actually still behind in workers. Or actually, I'm sorry, he's up. He's just...
That makes sense. That makes
So I'll
sense.
try and do that for the next games and see if they leave an opening like that, yeah.
Got it. We were thinking you might proxy, but you never did. That's just really got it. Seth, you have any questions for him?
no, just good, decisive wins there, and then pretty impressive. Looking forward to the next match.
Other thing. Yeah.
Especially,
What do you think about that matchup, Terran versus Terran?
Well, it's the hardest race to play versus the hardest race to play, so
Which
it's
means-
a great matchup indeed.
Which means both of you will be stroking your egos. And then at
Marines
she might be
initially or
doing
tech lab or
mines.
something.
We're gonna do
Oh,
mines.
she's not gonna make
She
she's not gonna make a battery. That's kind of a mistake, but he is targeting.
Needs
He's
to
kind of
chrono
split
this, too.
targeting. I think if Mazel was purely attacking the pylon, he might be able to just depower this. But since
Exactly.
Chaotic pass because there's just too much action all over the map. But let's start with the bottom right corner, the orange Protoss,
Cyan.
and his teammate, yellow Terran.
You know, like I said, this build is so strong. You don't have to. You can see here how many mistakes is Stu make. You don't actually have to play well to win with this strategy because he already took the lead, right? Now, if it was even, of course you still have to play well. But look at this.
holy cow! That was just insanity. That was just insanity, and we're gonna get a game 3 in this 2v2 match.
Colossus. Yeah, make 4
Well,
or 5.
4 or 5. Don't
and
make
then-
like 8 of them, 10 of them, like Stu Blue did at one point.
Yeah. Do the same thing what you were doing, back corrupt, but just sprinkle in some Colossus in there with range, and I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, Rascallion. And then Fields of Death, and I believe it's heavy artillery to close it out. So big maps overall. A little surprised to see Fields of Death. I'd say it's the most unpopular map in any of the pools currently. Like, you know, 1v1.
It seemed like you never worried about him. Even, you know, typically people would make something against Chargefly. You just completely ignored them. What was going through your head about dealing with him?
I really wasn't thinking really much.
Couple stuff.
Yeah, they could have held it for a little bit, but neutrophil had the entire map.
Oh, yeah, that's true. They could have held the first attack, but
Yeah, long term, no way.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're trapped in there, if you're contained.
GG. Gian Phone does take it. Yeah. Got a team thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So, instability or unstable, as I'm seeing in there. How do you feel with your versus Theron? Do you fear EMP or do you laugh?
Yeah.
All right, we have a 2-0 there. Welcome back. Gotta say, the first game was quite the macro war. Sooner or later, you gotta do something about it. But yeah, this is neutrophil already. Sent a little bit of an early probe before.
Yeah, he's got problems.
Yep. Yeah, that was probably what he had in mind.
No, he knows. And he's got
Oh, yeah.
two stuff. Cyan had a chance right there.
Yeah. We needed to have all of his units together, preferably right at the top of that round. And
Yeah.
we have the GG.
GG. And, well, also his James Fire. He was focusing carriers here to.
Thanks for the game, guys. I'm gonna have to step away right now. I think certainly you have to as well.
Yeah,
me too.
You can only StarCraft for so long before the rest of life needs attention. It's called
That's all right.
multitask for people.
Good night.
Not every.
I'm
Oh yeah, we saw you already. There you go. And this is ET's in the camp.
They can poke around. Doors are very slow, especially in this map where they have to circumvent these flips.
So
But
here's
let's
the
see
thing.
here.
If you're gonna make mutas, you better be active. If you're not active,
Yeah.
I've seen that already.
But each time these swarm hosts recharge, there's a lot of locusts that are gonna come out of them. Deepu, throughout all of this, is at 130 supply.
I mean, this
Alright, well, he does 1 supply damage, which is not bad. And when I say not bad, it means sure he's just like, oh, I need another depot. Maybe Cherise gets super extra defensive. But look, Tristan
gets met by an Archon and shoos it away. Like there's a, I think yeah, the Terran is really strapped for gas. He has a lot of minerals, but he needs gas. He could probably do well in supplementing his stores with some heldbacks.
We know for sure we can't go. That's not really overextending. It's just keeping your players, the opponent honest. Like, do you really have anything in there? Because you guys are fast, right? Your units are fast. The lanes are certainly fast. You can always escape. So that maybe that's on Gray to kind of just send it to you.
Defensive now. Then he thinks that Dark Menace is coming with a timing push. Dark Menace decides to go for a third. So, which is smart.
Tony, come up, come up.
I can't respond to that. There's two of them there.
Alex, Tony, let's help out up there. With the carriers on the top left.
Oh, there you go. All right, so I'm looking forward to see some of the cool builds and strategies you're planning on bringing out. So, all right, we're gonna get started. You're gonna be server definitely muted. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, so that's the side of the map.
Okay.
He's the bird, right? His side of the map. And you know, in terms of eco, he's 11 workers ahead, which is fantastic for a Protoss.
Well,
And
maybe, but I think he's a little bit oversaturated, is he?
Sorry, we can stop complaining about the ping anymore because it's a non-existent factor here. Right? They both have the same disadvantage. This is dangerous.
Enough though. DLS Mizel.
This
Oh
is
man,
dangerous.
I mean, like the harassing. If you could just like smooth it out and actually add on your production a bit faster, you'll notice a huge difference in like win rate very quickly. Because harassing and like actually doing a lot of damage like this is like a very high level thing.
Yep.
So
honestly, this game is
competitive, right?
Yeah, this is pretty competitive. You know, Little Reaper wasn't building probes for a long time, so even though he did a ton of damage, he's actually still behind in workers. Or actually, I'm sorry, he's up. He's just...
That makes sense.
So I'll try and do that for the next games and see if they leave an opening like that, yeah.
Got it. We were thinking you might proxy, but you never did. That's just really got it. Seth, you have any questions for him?
No, just good, decisive wins there, and then pretty impressive. Looking forward to the next match.
Other thing. Yeah.
Especially.
What do you think about that matchup, Terran versus Terran?
Well, it's the hardest race to play versus the hardest race to play, so
Which
it's
means,
a great matchup indeed.
Which means both of you will be stroking your egos, and then at someone,
Reams
she might be
initially, or a
doing
tech lab or
mines.
something.
What are you gonna do?
Oh, she's not gonna make she's not gonna make a battery. That's kind of a mistake, but he is targeting. He's
the
kind of
chrono
split
this too.
targeting. I think if Mizel was purely attacking the pylon, he might be able to just depower this. But since
chaotic pass because there's just too much action all over the map. But let's start with the bottom right corner, the orange Protoss.
Cyan.
And his teammate, the yellow Terran.
You know, like I said, this build is so strong. You don't have to. You can see here how many mistakes is Stu doing. You don't actually have to play well to win with this strategy because he already took the lead, right? Now, if it was even, of course you still have to play well, but look at this.
holy cow! That was just insanity. That was just insanity, and we're gonna get a game 3 in this 2v2 match.
Colossus. Yeah, make
Well,
4 or 5.
4 or 5. Don't
and
make
then-
like 8 of them, 10 of them like Stu Blue did at one point.
Yeah. Do the same thing what you were doing, back corrupt, but just sprinkle in some Colossus in there with range, and I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, Rascallion. And then Fields of Death, and I believe it's heavy artillery to close it out. So big maps overall. A little surprised to see Fields of Death. I'd say it's the most unpopular map in any of the pools currently. Like, you know, 1v1.
It seemed like you never worried about him. You didn't, you know, typically people would make something against Chargefly. You just completely ignored them. What was going through your head about dealing with him?
I really wasn't thinking really much.
Couple stomps.
Yeah, they could have held it for a little bit, but neutrophil had the entire map.
Oh, yeah, that's true. They could have held the first attack, but
Yeah,
long term, no way.
yeah, that's the thing. If you're trapped in there, if you're contained.
GG. Ian Phone does take it. Yeah.
Got a team thing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So, instability or unstable, as I'm seeing in there. How do you feel with your versus Theron? Do you fear EMP or do you laugh?
Starcraft calling from the void. Young and old gamers deployed. FSL battles in the night. Team League warriors take flight. Terran cell it ready to strike. Surgling swarm under moonlight. Blood off eyes, bright as gold. Legend stories brave and bold. Charge the fields ready to fight. Masters of the star shining bright. In the game we find our light. High hearts burning through the night. Terran cell it ready to strike. Masters of the star shining bright. In the game we find our light. High hearts burning through the night. Structures rise, defenses fall. Victory sweet, we answer the call. Tactics sharp and plans precise. We face our fate, roll the dice. Intense drumming, the heartbeat sync. Pop pump screaming on the brink. Tension builds with each move. Proving battles we improve. Charge the fields ready to fight. Masters of the star shining bright. In the game we find our light. High hearts burning through the night. Turn sailor ready to strike. Masters of the star shining bright. In the game we find our light. High hearts burning through the night. High hearts burning through the night. Intense strumming, a heartbeat sync. Pop punk screaming on the brink. Tension builds with each move. Proving battles we improve. Charge the fields ready to fight. Masters of the star shining bright. In the game we find our light. High hearts burning through the night. Turn sailor ready to strike. Masters of the star shining bright. In the game we find our light. High hearts burning through the night. High hearts burning through the night. High hearts through the night.
All right, we are live.
Alrighty, welcome everyone to a night of the FSL. I'm here with Fenrir, and we're going to be casting a game here between Little Reaper and Vales. So let's talk to Little Reaper, the sort of, I guess, challenger here. How are you feeling going into this match?
Hold on, let me bring him in. Let me bring in both of them. Little Reaper and Vales are now on camera, and now they're ready for questions. Go ahead.
Okay, so Little Reaper, how are you feeling coming into this match against Vales?
I'm feeling okay. I mean, like, I don't know if I'm gonna win, but like, I think I'll do good.
Sorry, I think you may have cut out there.
Oh man.
I think I'll do pretty well, and I think I might win, but like I think I'll try my best. I don't know if I'm gonna win though, so yeah.
All right, fair enough. And Vales, how are you feeling against Little Reaper here tonight?
Confident.
All right, I know Little Reaper's a bit of a tricky player. You think you're prepared for those tricks?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, all right, awesome. Well, have you guys done any specific preparation, like Little Reaper? Have you got any specific builds prep for Vales here, or just kind of, riffing?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Good to be prepared.
Yeah, and Vales, much prep, or are you just kind of confident enough you're going into it a little loosey-goosey?
Just confident, to be honest.
All right, awesome. Well, I think we're pretty much ready to get into games. Are the vetoes done?
Yeah, Frostline is map 1.
Frostline. Okay. Well, we can go ahead and host that game up. Now, as we're getting into this, so it's going to be a bit of a PvT here. How do you generally feel about playing against Protoss on the current patch, Vales?
I think we all hate Protoss, don't we? Zergs and Terrans alike.
Even most Protoss, possibly. But
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. And Little Reaper, how do you feel against Terran lately? I know a lot of people are saying it's pretty strong. Cyclone's a bit of a problem. Some people are arguing. How do you feel?
I feel pretty confident. I've been beating a ton of ladders. So.
All right, awesome. Ladder heroes indeed. Okay, well, I think we're in the lobby now, so we're just going to get people sorted out onto teams, and we'll be ready to go. Races are selected, so good luck, you guys.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Alrighty, and I think the players will be muting and deafening. I think I can even maybe do that. Oh, we're just going to move. That'll work. Okay. All right, and we're going to go ahead and hop in. So, yeah, it's going to be Frostline LE to start. Fenrir, what's your opinion on this map?
Oh, I don't know if I've ever played on that one before.
Awesome. Same.
Yes, my level of experience is...
Looking at the little pictures here they give me, it looks like
it's kind of small, isn't it?
It's small, but the bases look like pretty tight choke points on your natural and third base, so they should be fairly defensible if you want to go for that. Little Reaper, of course, not afraid of one basing and two basing it, though, so we'll see how
You are watching FSL.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let me set my camera here. All right, in the upper right-hand side of the map, we have our red Terran player. He is...
Vales.
I think he's Vales, right?
I thought they'd play the video clip, but yes.
I think the blue guy, the blue Protoss down here, this is Little Reaper, if memory serves.
Little Reaper.
We're really just guessing here. No, they have the
little mouse over text, right?
The little voice guy. Vales, So.
He sounds a lot cooler than either of us.
Yeah, can't compete with that, really. So we've got an SCV going across the map, pretty sprightly. Fake proxy gateway here out of Little Reaper, so trying to trick Vales into thinking he's being more aggressive than he is. We'll see if Vales falls for it.
I mean, I would, but this is Code B you're talking. The Code B opinion is that this is a genius plan. We'll see how it holds up at higher MMR levels.
I mean, this is a very high-level strategy. There's some strategies like this, though, that tend to... This is a strategy that tends to work the better the opponent is, because at a certain level of low MMR, you're not scouting to even find out if they built a gateway at all.
You're scouting on muscle memory?
Well, no, you're just not even really scouting. They either don't send an SCV, or they don't pay attention to whether or not they even saw a gateway. Vales does scout, does seem to kind of see what's going on, maybe a little bit suspicious. We do see, I think he would have been going for a Reaper in theory, but is instead opening Marine as he's expecting that proxy. We'll see if he even goes to the extent of dropping down a bunker, or if he's just going to kind of comfortably drop down that command center.
He's scouting for that proxy. Look at that SCV going around there.
Yeah, SCV is searching for the proxy. Still no expansion quite yet. Marine will come out and push that probe away, maybe even kill it, but the probe should maybe make it out of there. Just barely. And we do see bunker before command center here. So Vales is playing a little bit carefully against the fake proxy gateway. So a good little start here for Little Reaper. No real downside to what he did, and it's worked out pretty darn well. I'd say that's a good 10 to 20 second delay on the command center there over what you might expect.
I don't know exactly how mining speed works, but 20 seconds is a long time in any RTX.
20 seconds is a very long time indeed, and it's not just the the extra minerals spent on the bunker. It's the fact that for a while now, and he also got supply blocked, but there's no SCV production out of that second command center, and your mules are late, so it's a pretty big hit there. Very nice start. Obviously, nothing game-winning, but a nice, solid little play out of Little Reaper thus far. And Little Reaper actually coming in with the Adept now. Might be able to sneak past the bunker. Well, unfortunately, Shade's
sort of.
directly into it. He's not making the best use of his Shade, but should be able to delay this command
shade
center.
the Adept walks away from is a good shade, you know?
Yeah, and frankly, should have shaded out, but
Yeah, especially when he saw that wall
I think
there.
he will still make it away, but it's quite possible that that command center would have been finished by the time that Adept makes it across the map under normal circumstances. So the fact that it was delayed and then delayed even further, it's just compounding interest.
And I don't know if Vales would have full walled the top ramp or not. I think I would have at this point. Well, okay, at this point I probably would have figured out how to build my barracks, but
Yeah, typically with Terran, you do just drop that second depot to complete the wall off. So I think the wall off would have been done either way, or at least there would have been a building in the way even if it wasn't completed. But Vale seems to be a little bit thrown off here. That SCV is just sitting there. Command center only just now starting to transform, quite a little bit after it's already done. Vale's killing that Marine in frustration.
executed.
Brutal.
Crimes against the state, dang.
Yeah, pretty brutal there. Warp Gate is completing now, and a Phoenix Scout coming across the map for Little Reaper, keeping an eye on everything going on. Meanwhile, on Little Reaper's side of the map, he's already almost fully probed the minerals on his natural expansion. He's got a Twilight Council out. He's looking pretty solid here.
Well, I mean, all it takes is a little bit of water in your fuel lines, and everything is messed up. I'm not really sure what I'm trying to say here. What I'm saying is something is interfering with Vales' rhythm.
It made sense to me. So the Hallucination Scout gets in, sees everything. We do just have a double racks stem coming on the way. We got Blink approaching the 30 or 40% mark. Warp Gate already done, and supply count's actually ahead for Little Reaper thus far, so that's nice to see. Another Hallucination Scout coming out, continuing to scout, making sure he knows what's going on. Does have to worry a little bit about what might happen once that stem completes. We have 3 barracks out, actually.
I wonder if Vales has decided to just go for an all-in off the since his economy has been disabled. Well, not disabled, but
Looks like he may be doing that. Little Reaper now going to rush out Psionic Storm, the bane of Terrans at any level, really. But
ride the lightning.
Yeah, it's going to be quite strong if he can get there. I'd almost like to see a third base in the next little bit.
Here comes Vales. He salvaged his
Little
bunker.
Reaper.
Wait, bunkers don't salvage for 100? I could have sworn they did.
No, they salvage for
75.
5 now, yeah. And there were some more changes in the most recent balance patch with that as well to even that up. And we do actually see a third base coming out. Very few units out, but High Templar coming out. Will Storm be completed in time for this attack? I highly doubt it. So that High Templar is probably just going to get sniped. I think we should have just seen continued Stalker production with the amount of damage that he got done at the start of the game, and he's going to be out of position for this attack into his natural base, not near the sealed battery, which will get sniped here most likely. But Psionic Storm now only 10 seconds out, maybe able to sweep him behind.
Being late for the engagement might be good, just because now he's got Vales in a bit of a, and he has sight, because his army could never have won.
Oh, a good attempt at the force field there, but now actually will
one pixel off.
Yeah, 1 pixel off, and will, yeah, I was afraid of that, be blocking his own Stalkers from coming to help. Will there be a Psionic Storm down on the Marines? The Marines actually split a solid storm here, but Vales is just standing and fighting as he thinks he has enough to
It looks like he
beat
does.
Little Reaper. Indeed, I think he does. Little Reaper, unfortunately, warping in directly on top of the Punk forces. If we see a battery overcharge, oh, I guess there is no battery.
There's no battery overcharge.
Oh,
no.
no. Yeah, I think the storm was maybe a little premature.
Alright, there's
the will be called.
Finally an effort, though.
Yeah, I think rushing after the storm was a little bit premature. If he just had a good pack of one Stalkers on his shield battery, he might have been okay there.
He really didn't have the
So true. So true. We'll head into map 2. Is this the best out of 3?
I don't know, actually.
We'll find out.
It's been a while since I've had the privilege of being in a finals playoff.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's best of 3. So potentially our final map here of the series we'll be heading into if Vales can continue to pick up dubs here. a pretty short game there, only 7 minutes, but I think, yeah, Little Reaper was looking really good. If he holds that, I don't believe Vales had a particularly strong economy behind it. I think he just rushed up into his tech a little bit too quickly. Would have preferred to just see a lot more Blink Stalkers. Only having 5 units out at 7 minutes into the game, roughly, is not great. And he had the production. He had like 4 gateways out at that point, but he was not warping in with them. He was basically gas starved because he was researching Blink, Charge, Psionic Storm, and trying to warp in High Templar. And the Templar Archives, I think, is 200 gas all of its own, so pretty involved there.
And that's just a hefty chunk of a geyser, assuming you've mined the whole thing.
Well, just the High Templar alone, that's 8 Blink Stalkers worth of gas that you're using there. That's probably enough to hold there, or at least come very close to it, especially with some Zealot warp-ins from the minerals he had. But still, I think a pretty good showing from Little Reaper there in Game 1.
It's always tough trying to figure out whether you want to be teching up or building units to base off of.
Absolutely.
Because if you got too many low tiers, you're just going to get bored.
Yeah, I think with the scouting that he'd gotten, there was no third base on the way. It was obviously going to be a 2-base attack he needs to work against first. And I think even if he'd researched Storm and just not actually gotten High Templar out, or just the one High Templar, he could have had 3 more Stalkers, because the second High Templar did nothing.
He didn't have his energy.
Yeah, and he also should have had, I believe he pulled his Adept all the way home. If he just had that sitting mid-map, he probably gets it killed, but he sees the Marines coming and has a little more forewarning there.
And that's half the battle.
Knowing is half the battle.
You are watching.
All right, well, we are spawning in on our second map here. In the bottom left, we have a red Terran player. He is
Vales.
And we have a blue Protoss, Little Reaper. Challenger.
Little Reaper not opting for the fake gateway this time. I'm not sure if Vales ever became aware of the fact that it was a fake gateway, other than like never found it. So maybe he was able to suss that out, but I'm not sure if he ever actually scouted it. But not opting to go for that play again makes a lot of sense, I think.
Just rolling safe and slow high ground play just in case Vales decides to turn around and proxy or something, which it doesn't look like he's going to do.
Yeah, just building on his side of the map is sending out his usual SCV scout. We do have a probe scout coming out as well to be a little bit annoying on Vale's side of the map. Scouts pass each other. Very exciting stuff as the second pylon will go down in the main base. No proxy. We'll have to see what sort of tech comes out post-Cybernetics core, obviously, and what strategy Vales may opt for. Vales, the last time I cast Vales, which was like a year ago, I think, he's a pretty consistently same thing player. He does like eBay blocks, which he appears to be doing again. But he also is pretty big on just like Marine Marauder. He plays that a lot. He's not like a throw out random builds kind of thing. He's just make a lot of Marines and Marauders and medevacs and win the game with it against Protoss in particular. So it's a valid strategy for sure. It's obviously.
The infantry are a core combatant.
Yeah, pulled out a win in I believe the last season of the Codas. Might have been 2 seasons ago. Yeah, I think it was last season. And so obviously worked out for him well there. Cybernetics core will be finishing up, and Little Reaper just going to opt to take an expansion at his third base now instead of at the natural because of that eBay block. Probe will die, unfortunately, as we do have second command center just starting on the high ground for Vales, so being a little bit careful there. And yeah, Little Reaper's ignoring the eBay for the moment. We'll probably just kill it when his Stalkers and Adepts come out. Still no tech coming down for Little Reaper, who's a little low on gas at the moment for that, I suppose. He has 2 out of 3 there. Will now have 3 out of 3 on gas, but looks like maybe a Twilight Council straight away. No Stargate or anything like that, I would have to guess. As Stargate would be quite late at this point, and indeed we do see a Twilight Council coming down. So probably Blink, potentially Charge, Storm. All that wonderful stuff you can expect from Protoss. So we do have the second and third barracks dropping down, factory on the way as well. And Little Reaper checking to make sure that eBay got canceled, and indeed it did. Yep, Adept's going to scout. We'll see. It looks like Little Reaper is indeed building another sentry here, and Vales is being very careful. I think Vales is just kind of showing that he's of the opinion that as long as he doesn't die to some weird cheese at the beginning of the game, he'll be just fine against Little Reaper, and that did work out for him in the last game, so can't blame him too much for thinking it.
Just gotta live through that early game so you can use
Absolutely. And it doesn't look like Little Reaper's opted for an upgrade yet from that Twilight Council. We'd really love to see that coming out a little bit earlier. That's yet another thing as well. He was dumping Chronos into Storm as opposed to finishing up his Blink and then getting Charge out. You know, might have been able to get Charge because it's not a particularly lengthy upgrade compared to the others. Is actually going Charge Storm now. And I mean, the Storm did do work last game. You just had to have something behind the Storm to kind of back it up. Or hit an energy overcharge on a High Templar and just cast Storm like 8 times.
Oh, you can do that now. Oh man, that sounds horrifying.
Yeah, I mean, that may be exactly what Little Reaper's going for with the quick High Templar. But I can appreciate what he's doing here. Recognizing that, hey, Stalkers are also pretty gas-heavy, pretty gas-dense unit. Zealots, not so much. So you can go Zealot Storm a little bit easier than you can go Blink Storm.
And Zealots can really rip up Terran infantry if they get on top of them.
Absolutely. The Zealots pack a great defensive punch to kind of cover your storms. And at this level, Terrans have a much harder time. We'll have to see how Vales does, but Terrans typically have a much harder time dealing with Storm at this level. Not very good at splitting. Granted, I was Grandmaster, and I wasn't very good at splitting, so, you know, it happens at all levels, but we do already see High Templar coming out, and Storm over halfway done, so a Storm rush, really, here, which I can appreciate. I think that's pretty cool. Would love to see, like, a robotics facility or something. Zealots are a unit that love Warp Prisms, and High Templar Storm Drops can also be quite fun and a good way to get value. We do have tanks coming out for Vales. I think tanks are actually not really preferred in this situation, but he doesn't know that yet. Tanks are pretty good if you have Stalkers going up against you, but in this case, that's not going to be happening.
Minimum range and all that.
Minimum range, indeed. And also just Stalkers are armored units, which tanks deal extra damage against. And Zealots are just light units. So tanks shooting Zealots just kind of looks comically bad most of the time.
Big, impressive explosion, and he just sort of walks through it.
Yeah, and Vales is hitting the supply block of a lifetime. He's at 62 out of 62. The only supply-related buildings that were on the ground was a command center that was halfway done, so he's going to hit a massive supply block. It kind of looked like he wanted to move out,
He's
but
just like me.
he like me for real. It looked to me like he was planning on moving out, as Little Reaper also thinking that preemptively pops the Guardian Shield.
Very important strats.
But
he's making sure it works. You know, you can't have it fail in the middle of the battle.
I think Vales was going to move out until he hit that supply block, and then he re-sieged his tanks. You know, he just canceled his bunker, unsieged his siege tank, and then he just re-sieged the tanks after he dropped the 3 supply depots. So I think Vales missed an attack opportunity there if he was planning on taking. Combat Shield's now going to be finishing up, so the Marines will be a little bit heftier, and he will move out now. But that army does not look particularly scary versus, let's see, what, 3 High Templar and 10 Zealots with Charge. More on the way. The only thing Little Reaper's missing, and funnily enough, Vales is missing it as well, as any sort of attack or armor upgrades. Those do make a big difference in these kinds of engagements. And Little Reaper actually does get the scout on the push out, knows it's coming.
He's getting
Has also hit a supply block, but the 3 pylons are finishing up, so he should be able to get some more warp ins. Warping in a few Stalkers, interestingly. He does have Blink on the way. Dark Templar Shrine coming down now. Little Reaper moving to the left as Vales moves to the right. Oh no, Little Reaper move back. Moves away. 3 Marines do go into the mineral line. There are some Zealots on the way. Giant storm on the army. Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's
Humongous
indexed for the
storm. And the High Templar survives, which means Vales has to kind of back off and be careful there. Oh, but the Zealots do not defend, and a massive amount of probes fall. 9 make it potentially 10. Nope, just 9 probes will fall, but the tanks are gone now. There's still a storm out. More High Templar warping in. He's not using the energy overcharge, I don't think, which I would love to see on the High Templar. That feels like an incredible ability to use on them. Oh, but does actually see the Widowmine as well. Very nice.
You hate when that happens. You go through the trouble, it's perfectly positioned, and then that infantry models on infantry.
Yeah, I mean, still 100 minerals lost, but not nearly as bad as it would have been if it hit center mass of the army. Would love to see some probes moving down from the main base to that natural, of course, but not going to see that just yet.
They're training him, though, at least.
Yeah, is consistently pumping pros, which you do love to see. He's up to a good 47 pros versus 43 SCBs.
I don't think you really want the Protoss to be ahead on aces and probes, right? Which is the slowest developing faction usually.
No, Terran will oftentimes have fewer workers because mules make a big difference. So it's really not very bad for Vales, but it's not horrible. That's like bare minimum, really, for Little Reaper to not be in trouble. Little Reaper's going to hit another supply block here, but he is adding on more gateways. Would love to see a fourth base coming down as well. The main thing that's been troubling Little Reaper here is his positioning. He keeps missing the armies and being in the wrong spot.
It's like that awkward situation where you try to get out of someone's way and they try to get out of your way and you run into each other.
Yeah, except the opposite.
The opposite is you're trying to block someone and you just go off in a different direction.
Walk off of the edge of the bridge when you're trying to move up to the side.
He found his army.
Yeah, it does find the army. Looks like a dropship coming out will fly over the army of Little Reaper, and that's a nice snipe right there for Little Reaper. A full medevac, and Vale's forced to pull back now. Do we have any High Templars still out? It looks like he does have 4 High Templar, and he's pushing out as ghosts are coming out, so there will be EMPs. Will the EMPs actually hit is the main problem. Either hit would be good value there, but we'll have to see what he manages to do. Little Reaper just going to target down the 4th base. Love this out of Little Reaper here. That's the right
He feedback the ghosts, no EMP.
That was excellent feedback indeed. Does snipe the 4th base here. No cancel. And can just pull back using his storms to retreat. But he's not going to do it, and he gets the EMP, but it actually missed the High Templar that had full energy. One more storm in the pocket. And he should have backed up, but he did kill 5 SCVs. Is there one more storm? There is another massive storm. Excellent. But I think overstaying his welcome there is Little Reaper.
I thought he was going to get that last one.
Now, the main thing that Vales, I think, has done very well against Protoss in previous series and is continuing to happen here is he has much better macro during attacks than a lot of the players of his caliber do. And so he has a new army ready to go where Little Reaper was banking like 2,000 minerals, almost 1,000 gas. He's spent a bunch of it now thanks to warp gates, but he could have had a much bigger army behind this.
Upgrades-wise by an attack into damage.
Yeah, it's now 1-1 versus 0 upgrades at the moment. Soon to be 1-1 versus 1, but then it's going to be +2/+2, which is a big timing for Terran. But 4th base going to come down well ahead for Little Reaper here. Already done, in fact. That was one thing he did well during that attack. He takes the rich base gas, or the rich gas base, and we'll be able to mineral up that base.
Here
now,
comes
Little Reaper,
Vales, and that's a lot of guys.
Here, Little Reaper needs to be pre-splitting his High Templar, really. It's, I guess, a bit much of a tall order, but I would have loved to see him at the top of the ramp as well, instead of letting the Terran just free-push on the ramp initially. Terran
Gave
actually
away his location. Looks like he is going to be at the top of the ramp now.
Yeah, but is able to shoot down from there. But I mean, High Templar could, in theory, get some nice juicy storms down the cliff from there, but not going for it just yet. +2 on the way pretty quickly out of Little Reaper. And 6 more gateways coming down, so kind of making up for that macro issue by just making more production, which is the correct way of handling it. You know, if you're going to be floating money, may as well make more production usually. Yeah, I'd imagine that's for Liberators, as he can Liberator up this base, which is going to be a powerful little position there. Double Liberator does come in. Blinkstalkers are out. He could blink underneath those pretty easily.
Nope, they're burrowing at the bottom.
Yeah, but he does have an Observer out. Looks like he's just going to do some Blink Micro. Very nice Little Reaper there. Probes. Should take a 5th base, I think, but oh, pushing up into the top is Vale's going to snipe the 3rd base. That's 2 bases shut down from mining at once for Little Reaper. Very painful. Should have been taking the base to the bottom right, I think. As soon as his Liberators came in, he got the money for it, but I think the natural instinct is just protect what you've got, not necessarily take more.
Defensive position. Vales is going to be up upgrades very far soon.
Yeah, it's going to be 2-2 versus just +2. Looks like Little Reaper is going to just push directly into the army. Yeah, but it is on attack move, not move command. It all will come down to these storms, and I don't think that Little Reaper is going to split properly against them. Oh, but he is pushing him into a corner. That's not a good place to be. That's not a good way to be.
Oh no, this is like
here. We need
is
more
like
storms.
Galaga. You don't go in the corner. Never let him go in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm out.
That is that's pretty good damage there, but it was not enough. There is a Dark Templar putting in some work, but a simple scan will take that down.
Okay, let's see how the army is doing. It's Stalkers.
It's now 3 base to 3. We'll clean up the Liberators, but The big mistake Little Reaper made there was he was right here to the left of the Liberators before he pushed in with that army. Could have cleaned the Liberators up and got his mining up and going and then attacked. Instead, he did it in the opposite order, so he hasn't had mining on his third base for forever.
Probes, oh my.
Yeah, definitely over mining. Lost that base. Just now retaking a fourth. I think that's going to kind of be the writing on the wall. He is up in supply at the moment.
But I don't think his Templar have their storms charged yet.
Templar do not have storms quite yet.
If you could hit him with that
Vales
Nexus
doesn't,
overcharge.
Vales doesn't necessarily
he
know
did.
that, and he did energy overcharge one of the High Templar, so we'll have some storms available. Should be able to push in and take out these Liberators potentially.
Yeah, I don't really see Vales testing this very hard. Although he's going to be way up on soon.
Yeah, 3-3 over halfway done for Vales now, so definitely keeping that upgrade game going
Little
well.
Reaper did take that
I would
corner
love to
base,
see a
though.
fifth base coming up back where he lost his third, but not happening quite yet. He is getting mining back up in a decent fashion, but Vale's now on 4 base as well and up in supply where he was down just a moment ago. I think Vale's supply advantage is going to start running away in the near future. As a lot of the army that Little Reaper's been able to warp in recently has been due entirely to a bank he developed that is now gone because he doesn't have that consistent 4-base mining like he had before.
Yep. And it's largely Zealots. Of course, Zealots aren't all that bad, especially since Ghosts. I mean, Ghosts.
Zealots rapidly get worse now that Ghosts are out. The
Anti-light power plus EMP stripping their shields.
Yep, absolutely. So we'll have to see, but it's looking grim here. Relying entirely on Archon High Templar Zealot is like everything that Ghosts do really well against in this matchup. I would have loved to see, we needed some Colossus tech out a couple minutes ago. He is now getting a robotics facility. We'll see if he manages to make it up into robotics bay and those colossi, but I'm not sure that Vales is going to give him the time. I mean, granted, they are tied on supply right now. He is taking a 5th base to the lower right, but
Vales is going to push in from the north, and
Vales has huge upgrades right now.
3-3 to 2.
Yeah, 3-3 versus just +2 attack, no +3 even for Little Reaper here, and no armor upgrades, which the Zealots do appreciate armor upgrades.
Vales is also much closer to being caught up in supply, and how much of that is probes.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, this game has been a tight one, though, but now it's a close.
Oh, he's going to go in and... Oh,
hit a massive
man.
EMP. No Observer with the army. I mean, there's still a good amount of Storm available, but... Oh, the EMP misses.
He missed in
Has
his
to be
face.
careful with that. Yeah. Misses the EMP.
Another
there.
squad coming up the
Bang,
range.
bang. Oh. But now a full EMP. Can he energy overcharge still, though, is the real question.
I think
one or
the
two
Nexus
storms
has-
might be enough to put
The Nexus
Zealots-
still has overcharge, but at this point it's just water.
So the Zealots are getting, stuck behind the water balloon throwers, which is no good. Should have morphed those into Archon beams. I think I think. The Zealots do come in. There is good splash damage from the Archon still, but I think it's just not going to be enough. More Zealots do warp in, but now it's 103 supply versus 151, and Vales will push in onto the High Templar, just not morph into Archons. I think that's going to be all she wrote for Little Reaper in this game now, at almost half the supply of Vales.
Pretty desperate struggle, but...
A good attempt. The attack down the ramp was unfortunately a bad idea. Not splitting your High Templar is just not acceptable. It's Vales, it seems. GG is called. Yeah, good game. Little Reaper with 169 APM. He's flying. And if you look at the graphs, I mean, workers active, he was ahead. Army value was ahead, but it's the resource collection rate, which dipped down massively for a couple minutes there later on in the game after those 2 bases were denied.
10 minutes longer than last game.
Yeah, absolutely. But excellent work out of Little Reaper. He's just getting better and better every year.
They're diamonds, they are.
And I think, yeah, we're going to drag in the players and have a little chat with them. So Vales does pull it out 2-0. That second game, though, looking pretty close there, Vales, at times. Storm, always a thorn in the side of Terran armies. Were you ever worried during that game, or did you still feel pretty confident?
I mean, I felt good when I scouted what was his 4th that he didn't rebuild it. Was it his 4th? 3rd? I don't know.
It was his
Nat. Yeah.
Technically, it was his
Don't know.
Nat, but
Right,
yeah,
okay.
he did opt to expand down the right. He had, I think, he was on 5 bases when he lost there, so he just didn't retake that base in particular. But the Storms did do some good work there, Little Reaper, but not quite enough. I think losing
Good
those
feedbacks.
Yeah, good feedbacks as well, but losing the one base and then the Liberator shutting down the other base for so long just denied mining a little bit too much. And the upgrades for Vales with 3-3 were pretty strong there versus only +2. But how did you feel about your performance there, Little Reaper?
I mean, like, I felt good.
Yeah, and I'd say you should. That was a very good performance. Vale seemed impressed in the chat afterwards, so I think good showing there for sure. And hope to see you competing more against this caliber of player next season. I believe that will end your performance this season, so pretty good showing, and congratulations on your performance.
It was a very good game. Very exciting.
And here's the thing. Now, the winner moves on to face 2 years ago's champ, 2 seasons ago, Neutrophil, and we'll bring him in. Let's bring him in for a quick chat. And here's Neutrophil now.
Hello.
Alrighty, Neutrophil. So you're going up against Vales, someone who did defeat you in the finals, if I'm not wrong, last season. How are you feeling going into the match against him today?
I think I've had plenty of time to prepare and see what he's up to, so I don't know. It'll be interesting.
All right, awesome. And I assume you're probably going to be playing mostly Protoss, no off racing today.
We'll see.
All righty. And Vales, how are you feeling against Neutrophil? Obviously, like I said, you did manage to defeat him in last season. Are you still feeling pretty good?
Yeah, feeling pretty good. Map 2, I might play Protoss.
Well, there you have it. A regular Clem in the chat here today. So that'll be exciting to see. Maybe we can get a reverse PVT. We'll see, right?
Maybe. Do you want to play on the same maps, Neutrophil, or?
Yeah, same maps is fine.
Same maps is fine by me, yeah.
Oh, there you go. Let's hop right in. You guys good with that, ET? You want to do this one?
Sure, yep, I can do this
All right, that'll be fantastic. Let's do this, guys. Good luck, good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Okay, they're out. And
all righty.
This will be good.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty good match. I mean, Little Reaper was some pretty excellent games there, actually, particularly Game 2. That was very close. Very cool. But Neutrophil, I had the feeling over the last couple seasons that Neutrophil was mostly coasting, so maybe Vales kind of came in and shook that up, and it's inspired him to push a little bit further, right? So
yeah. Well, it was Neutrophil's year last season, so and then Dark Menace took control, so he's now the #1 seed, and Neutrophil is probably 3rd or 4th seed, but we'll see what happens here.
Right, yeah. I'm hoping for some real strong PVTs here.
Yeah, Neutrophil has the advantage of watching what happened in the last match, so that may help. But then again, Vales is not a noob. He knows that, so he may have different things up his sleeve.
Yeah, it's true. And also, Little Reaper was piloting those games a little bit more, right? Whereas Neutrophil tends to be a bit different of a player, so you can't necessarily rely on the same responses. You're not going to be doing the same things a lot of times, but we'll have to see as we do hop in. It's going to be Frostline LE.
Again.
You are watching FSL.
All right, responding in on Frostline LE in the bottom left, we have the pink Protoss player. He is
Neutrophil.
And up here in the other corner, fresh off his victory high, is the Red Terran. He is
Vales.
Have fun, good luck, patent pending from Neutrophil. And
those who know, he says. Well, I don't know.
Neutrophil, always a bit of a banterer in these games, I think. Keeping it funky fresh, one might say. As we do have the normal gateway on the high ground.
If you're really good at typing, the banter could be to your advantage, because you don't need to sacrifice as much time as the other person does.
Yeah, and I think Neutrophil's a pretty fast typer, as many in his generation are. Well, you learned to write on paper, I studied the keyboard.
I had to learn both, and I'm bad at both of them.
Fair enough. eBay block is going down. This is a pretty signature move out of Vales, so I'd be kind of disappointed if we don't see a good reaction out of neutrophil here, as it seems we're not going to. Although he is going double gate, so you're not planning on getting your expansion up as early anyways. But it's like, you know, this is something he does a lot. You should have a prepared response for it, and maybe this is that. We'll have to see.
Maybe the probe, like, he's checking this for a proxy, but he could potentially just drop a nexus in that base of the scout probe. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but it would circumvent the eBay.
I wouldn't typically call it better than just dealing with the eBay would be, but he does scout it early enough that he should be able to respond however he wants to.
Yeah.
And it looks like it may just be that he's going double gate. We'll get out like 2 adepts, 2 stalkers, or something like that in a tech building, and then drop his nexus afterwards. Not really a typical build you'd see in a PvT, but neutrophil, a little bit tricky at times. Loves his drops. He's a bit of a savant with the warp prism, so we'll have to see if that comes out as well. And we'll be zealot stalker right off the bat here.
He's fluid shifting like water, so he doesn't really need to worry about being disrupted.
Yeah, very true. He's a puddle, not a river, so he's not flowing anywhere anyways.
He will just ripple around this eBay like a pebble.
Zealot taking a little bit of a coffee break, not helping the stalker out. Perhaps they got into an argument during training, and he doesn't really feel like helping him. But there we go. We'll finally start hacking and slashing away at that eBay, which does get canceled. And Nexus will be able to go down. It seems uninterrupted in the build as robotics facility coming down as well. Vales on the other side of the map is dropping a bunker on the high ground.
He is afraid. I don't know what he's afraid of, but
you did see a double gateway, so you never know.
Maybe he's just thinking the eBay was too irritating. Got to turtle up.
Yeah, eBay might have been too irritating. Maybe he goes for an all-in. It seems like he dealt with the eBay really late, but what that basically results in is the Nexus being ahead of this command center, despite the eBay block in the late response to it. So
Vales' tech level isn't any higher. In fact, I think it's lower, right? He doesn't have a factory or anything.
He doesn't.
No,
have
he has a factory.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just not seeing the factory. My eyesight's not very fast.
Yeah. Well, siege tanks are made mostly of blue light, so your blue light glasses are filtering them out. You can't actually see the factory.
It's true that like half of the surface of the siege tank is team colored.
Is blue. Yeah. So the command center will be finishing up here, but yet another thing with the command center, right, is it has to now complete building and then fly down. And yet another underrated thing that's bad about building on the high ground is, in theory, once you complete building, transform to an orbital command, you want to drop your mule and then fly down, which means you have to drop your mule in the main base, which you don't want to do because you want to start mining out the minerals in your natural base. Because if you mule the main base too much, it's going to mine out super fast, and you're going to have to stretch yourself thin, taking an extra base. So he's actually going to float down before making it to the orbital, which is better? I don't know if that's better or worse than
He has a
dropping
plan
the
of
main
sorts.
base. I guess he wants to get the mining up because he is fully saturated in the main base. Does have, is that his second siege tank? I believe so.
Oh, there's neutrophil? No, there's no way neutrophil is going to push into that with this current gear.
No, but he is making a lot of blink stalkers, which means he may be able to circumvent it. Okay, so stem almost done, blink well on the way. I guess almost done is a bit of an exaggeration, but I'm height casting. What can I say?
It's 60% of the way done, to put it in math terms, I think.
60% of the time, it's 90% of the way done. And stem, blink, siege tanks, a lot of siege tanks, but there's going to be immortals and blink stalkers against the siege tanks. We'll see how that performs.
Immortals can throw a real punch.
Vales
He's got a
does
prison
seem to
coming
be.
too.
Vales seems to be quite worried about this whole situation. I think he's expecting
an all-in of sorts.
Blink stalkers in the main base. And Warp Prism is coming out to do just that. But there's also going to be an immortal which could potentially land on those tanks in the main base. And one immortal, what is it? 3 shots? I think it's 3 shots with the +1, so it would be 4 shots a tank.
I don't know. It's a lot of damage though. They do a lot of damage.
Yeah, so could be able to snap up those tanks, and without the tanks to anchor, although he's not sending out the immortal, I look like an idiot. Although the prism's not done yet, so may still pick it up. But the blink stalker's coming out. We'll be able to blink up into the main. I hope they don't. Does he see? Oh, that might actually be good for neutrophil. If he blinked up there, those 2 tanks would probably have annihilated the blink stalkers. So
now though he knows Vales is attentive, which could mean Vales has something to hide.
Yeah.
And he also
Will
knows
maybe
Vales is paying attention to his main.
Yeah. Man, if neutrophil flies directly over, yeah, lose a scout again. That means he thinks everything's slow reaction there, loses 2 stalkers from basically 3. Third stalker going down as well. 4th, horrible attack out of neutrophil there, unfortunately.
The Marines flank just barely on time to make that even worse.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if that was a purposeful flank or not, because it didn't look like they were attack moving necessarily. But
they were just swinging by to say hi.
Yeah, Colossus now on the way out, but now Vales is moving out. He has a decent supply lead, and he has like 4 or 5, 5 tanks.
It's a lot of armor.
Marauders will have combat shields and stem.
There is a scout moving that will catch Vales' army halfway.
Yeah, Marauders slow out as well. +1 will be on the way. Observer will see the army coming, and he is moving out to try and make some pickups. Only 1 Marine. Ooh, loses a Stalker for a Marine and some chip damage on other units. And I think neutrophil may just die here. If you had old shield batteries, it's like maybe this holds, but as it is,
tanks are sieging. I don't think they need to.
Yeah, and fighting away from shield batteries for the first thing to fight.
The charge lot's getting on top of the tanks.
5 tanks sieging up. Yeah, it's a massive prelim there. Colossus will fall as well. 1 tank goes down, and neutrophil failed attack. I think really messed it. Not getting enough damage. GG is called. Yeah, the observer I think would have seen the tanks. And if he knew it was tanks, yeah, both the same. I think if he saw the tanks, then he would have been able to
play around them.
Blink up, wait for blink again, and blink on top of the tanks, because there wasn't vision on the edge of the base for Vales.
And tanks are expensive to lose like that. He could have left after that and made a very good trade.
Well, if he kills those 2 tanks, he can kind of just run around the Marines in circles for a while there. But
it's because the Stalkers have those long legs.
I don't know. It was weird because he went late expansion double gateway, and yet that blink stalker attack felt late compared to what a normal 4-gate blink build would be in PvT. So I don't know. I guess that was an attempt at a reaction to the eBay block, if I had to guess, but we'll see. So we're going to be heading into ley lines for game number 2 of this. I can only assume best of 3 as well, since they said same maps as the last best of 3.
We're going to pick the remaining maps completely at random.
I mean, that works for me.
It's more interesting than let's go to the same 2 maps over and over again.
Yeah. But I'm not sure we're going to make it to any new maps regardless. We'll have to see how it goes. Protoss versus Protoss here. Vales clearly has some cheeky PvP build in mind here, I think.
If you're going to cannon rush.
That would be
works, but
highly cheeky, so, I mean, it works for me.
You are watching
Yeah, like 4 times. In the upper right-hand side, we have the pink Protoss player. He is
neutrophil.
And in our bottom left corner, we have the red, now Protoss, once Terran. Or am I getting them mixed up? Whoever this guy is.
Yeah. Whose line is it anyway?
It's ley lines, I think.
Yeah, it's Lay's lines. We do have a potential proxy pylon there. Out of Vales. Yeah, proxy pylon, interesting. It's going to be, I think, proxy double gate forge, if I had to guess, based off of the build thus far.
Well, it's definitely double gate.
Yeah, there's no reason to go double gate without going forge.
Is the forge for defense?
No, it's for cannons. You build pylons at the bottom and up on the ramp, and zealots the zealots defend the cannons until the cannons get up, and then the cannons and zealots win. Is the plan. We'll have to see how the plan works out here for Vales.
And he's been scouted, and look where that probe is going.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to hit him right in the kisser, I think. Oh, wait.
Oh, not the kisser. Neutrophil.
It means the face
may
back.
just barely see that. I think he
think-
grazed it with his probe.
Yeah, and it's a building, so
Yeah,
he
he did indeed graze it with his probe.
Hold on a minute.
Should now know what's going on. He's chronoing out a zealot. There's a pylon going down on the low ground, but if that probe dies,
zealot.
this gets like completely shut down. So we'll have to see.
Oh, where's the probe going?
Oh, he's gonna try and wall in the gateways, which doesn't matter much
because you can just train on that side. So
but yeah, zealots now coming out. Second zealot on the way, and a forge on the way. Cybercore on the way. You don't actually want to make stalkers here. You want to make adepts because they're much better against zealots. But I don't blame them for not knowing. Oh, and he actually gets the cancel on the cannon. That was a pylon, not a cannon. I think.
Yeah, cannons don't.
In this
cannons aren't very
situation,
good
you want to
with
make the two cannons and then make a pylon because pylons build much faster than cannons.
And they also gain durability faster, which makes it harder to cancel.
Oh, and actually, he's just going to straight up win the war. So Neutrophil's going to win this game. Vales, he had an idea, but now a cannon's going up. He's going to get the kill on that cannon. When that falls, that's game, like, for sure. Yeah, now there's going to be a cannon on the high ground. 3 stalkers out soon. Shield battery on the high ground. And that's going to be all she wrote. So he should turn around, and if he does, Stalker on the high ground is going to help Stalker on the low ground. They're best friends. It's great to see. Heartwarming
It's a long
video.
distance relationship.
Drop a like and send to 3 of your friends. We do have another Stalker.
Cancels the cannon.
Cancels the
It's
cannon,
fake.
which is completely understandable. I would have loved to see the Stalker maybe not come out on the low ground and just focus down on that pylon, but yeah, this is just game at this point. Vales not going to be able to pull it out with Protoss. And a little bit of a meme build, and it's not going to work out here.
It was a valiant effort.
I mean, he's not technically dead. He does have... He's making double gas in Cybercore now, so he's not...
He is desperately trying to correct, but I think Neutrophil might be able to kill him.
Only mostly dead, which is slightly alive.
Yep. That's what? 3 combat units to... No, 4 combat units to 5, but there's about to be 4 if he gets this shot off. He's not going to. He's just gonna I think he's gonna spam him with zealots until. Look, Neutrophil's got a hidden base.
Yeah, Neutrophil does love making hidden bases. It's sort of his thing a little bit. Yeah, more zealots coming out isn't really gonna help much here. Robo on the way. He's actually gonna wall himself in because he's like,
hey, that was
there
a
ain't
good
no
idea.
stop on this crazy train for Vales.
There are
here.
no combat units in the main base, and well, other than Neutrophil, of course.
Yeah, Neutrophil's not going to be able to come in with a single Stalker. Vales is recalling, but he's only recalling Zealots, which means, in theory, the Stalker can just kind of give him
Can
a
get
run
away with
around.
murder.
Although, I see a citizen's arrest in his future.
At some point.
Oh? Makes
Oh,
it
the
out.
citizens are clumsy.
Slippin'
He
Jimmy.
uses the worker
Oh
block.
my goodness, he just walked straight through. Death Wish Protoss there. Funnily enough, yeah, if he hadn't
What a
walled in,
play.
he could have gone and killed the proxy as soon as
Yeah, the
as soon as
zealots
Vales
are not
recalled
home.
there.
He's moving out. Wait, no, he's not moving out. He can't. Move out. He's trying to move out, but the door's stuck.
Neutrophil re-killing his pylon that he replaced Vale's pylon with. Does have a corner base,
It was a
so
moral victory.
gonna be kind of sitting pretty here, I think. And the thing is, Vales is you're not gonna be that suspicious of a hidden base because you don't have a base, so you're gonna think that they're just not taking a base because you don't have a base.
That adept is just gonna.
And the proxy is going to fall again. I mean, we just killed the zealot too. But the proxy is going to fall. No +1 for you. That was going to be the deciding factor of this game. I don't know if you guys know that, but
the +1 in the proxy base.
it looks like it's going to be like a, if I had to guess, a charge follow-up out of Vales here. If he even gets that far, yeah, charge is on the way.
Charge is coming.
Warp Prism on the way for Neutrophil.
His warp gate is ahead somehow, but I don't think that really matters much, since he lost his only cross-map warp endpoint.
Yeah, and can't wait to see some Colossus coming out to deal with these charged zealots out of Neutrophil here for sure. Going to happen. I'm a prophet, and the world is ending in 3 months. So
That's
trust me.
cool.
We do have Neutrophil coming across the map.
He's alone zealot. He's going to be very busy.
Vales has helpfully placed his tech at the forefront of his base so that Neutrophil should see it no matter what.
It's just
and
common
know what's
last
going
courtesy.
on. Yeah,
Should
should
add a
now know
Twilight
what's
Council.
going on here. I wonder what Twilight Council and 10 Zealots could mean. He's probably going Storm.
You never can tell.
As we do have the hidden base now getting mostly saturated, adding on additional cannons, making it immortal,
Looks like the +1
warping
is
in more
going to go
gateways.
Neutrophil.
Yeah, and charge about to be done here, but there's a warp prism, so we should be able to make it away from the charge zealots once charge is finished without too much. Well, 7 stalkers don't fit in the warp prism as it happens, so some units might not make it out of this. I think he is going to lose one of his moves here because charge is done like now. But
he's just using the prism to parry dudes from the front.
yeah, just running away now is neutrophil, and I think with the cannons and the shield batteries, it should be a relatively simple defense. This is like a, you know, desperation move here out of neutrophil, and yeah, I'm just going to kind of position zealots with shield batteries. Charge doesn't actually make you deal more damage anymore, so an epic pickup that
an epic pickup that just leads to another stop.
didn't end up mattering. And again, Vales here, if he had a natural, maybe he's getting suspicious at this point. But I don't think he's going to get suspicious at this point because he doesn't have a natural, so it makes sense.
He's just going to get the little extra damage on shield recharge. I mean, he has saved his proxy, but does it have... Is that a pro? He's going to come and try to reactivate his proxy, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that one gateway in Forge may as well at this point. I think he has warp gate, so it is going to be, you know, a frontline warp in position for him, a fast warp, which is pretty nice.
Yep. Although, if Neutrophil...
I'd love to see a third base in his natural out of Neutrophil here.
Become the Dark Shrine.
Neutrophil needs to make a natural here.
Otherwise, okay, he's doing it. He's doing it.
So this way, when Vales comes in, he doesn't get suspicious, although Vales is now suspicious. So, yeah, Vales is going to find the base here.
It's been fully saturated, too. Oh, no.
But
he can recall the probes.
I think, yeah, Neutrophil's got a recall, which means he can just recall and make his second base. Or his third base, his second base.
He lost 7 of
Vales
16.
not happy to see that.
Always with the ninja. I mean, how much... that ninja base was profitable, certainly. It was fully saturated for a while, though.
Yeah, that was definitely a good little move there. I think he took his third nat a little bit late.
Oh, look here. Always with the ninja, and what else does Neutrophil always do?
Warp Prism shenanigans, and probes will begin to fall, and as you can see, I mean, the main base already mining out here for Vales. He's gonna lose.
And he shaded past his army, too, so he's...
Oh, and he
now
scouted the Dark Shrine, I think, with those adepts there. Will get 7, make it 8, make it 9, make it 10. I think 10 probes do go down.
So actually, net probe, because destroying that ninja base only got some probes in a nexus. It was 7.
Yeah, I think well worth it there, especially because his economy was already much bigger than Vales's. And natural base now finished up. Good saturation on both.
Blink is coming along.
And did see the Dark Shrine.
He knows there's a building there at the very least. I don't know if he saw that it was... The Shades probably saw it.
He does have an observer out. I'm not sure where, but...
Is it there? Yeah, it's there.
It's there. So, is aware, I think, of the Dark Shrine, potentially. Maybe not. But he's making another observer. So.
Because that scout nexus is going to find it.
+1, gonna be finishing up for Vales. I think it's already done for Neutrophil, and indeed it is.
And would you look at that? Well. Oh, he's just going to try warping in reinforcements here. He's had about enough of these.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an all-out attack here, but it's going to fail kind of badly, I think.
Batteries
are
an
observer
powerful.
already.
And he was at a -1 upgrade to in. And now his adepts are just locking down the main mineral line.
Oh, yeah, kind of having an anti-timing with his upgrades there. +1 finishing up at the end of the fight instead of the beginning. 6 more probes fall, and the adepts will make it down into the base and get another few kills most likely.
So he sends off some of the probes, but not all of them.
Well, that was he was just re-saturating his main base. Yeah, he probably should have run more of them. But it looks like 4 more probes falling. 5, very nice out of Neutrophil there, and the observer just kind of parks itself over the army. Technically could get sniped by the Archons, but I'm not expecting that out of Vales on his off race. And, you know, if it ain't
now
broke,
it's the Zealots.
If it ain't broke, fix it even better. You know, make it better. 5 Zealots is a little bit more than 2 Adepts.
Yeah.
And should get a good amount of damage done. 2 Stalkers is not going to stop that. Yeah. There is a Dark Templar, but it was actually getting blocked in by the Zealot. Oh, and there's an Observer, so we'll be able to take down the Dark Templar without even losing one of the Zealots.
I think the Dark Templar got one of the Zealots, but even so, Dark Templar is more expensive. Both resources, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of probes going down there for Vales. Probably regretting his Protoss decision at this point, but he is up a game, so he has a little bit of space to for sure.
9. Yeah, that's how many probes has he gotten now? Like, there was 10, then like 5, then 9.
I don't
24
have the
probes?
right plugin, I don't think, for it. So. Let's see. Yeah. Oh well, it's I think roughly 30 probes have fallen. Nope.
Neutrophil has certainly been
Oh well.
keeping himself from taking casualties, which is pretty strong. Oh, get another scout, Nix.
Yeah, he's up 24 supply, 30 supply almost now. 2 more zealots coming in.
Vales has
Or
got
2 more
tires.
adepts. Vales trying to kill the warp, but not able to quite yet.
How is that
And a
slow
slow warp in. It's because the pylons are too far away from the Nexus.
It's
Cancels.
right next to the Nexus, and it's a slow warp. That's gotta hurt. And get another 7,
8, maybe 8. Yeah, 8 probes.
8 probes. Dang, that's so much money. He's bleeding. He's hemorrhaging everything.
It's good value. The resources lost about 1,000 ahead for Neutrophil here in the mirror
He
matchup.
says, ouch, he knows what's up.
Oh my goodness. And looks like we've now got Dark Templar on the way for his opponent now, and Vales has 0 detection related buildings. He could make a cannon, because he does have a forge, but he doesn't actually have any cannons yet.
He has 1 cannon in his main mineral.
Oh, he built one now?
Yeah.
Okay.
He built it during that adept attack.
Oh, and there comes the robotics facility, so... Maybe, but I mean, the Warp Prism is coming across the map, and the DT Shrine is done. So that natural base is probably just forfeit if he warps in like 4 DTs, which is what he should do.
That's what he's stopping there. Oh, and Vales' army is across the map.
A good concave already set up for Neutrophil here. He's got to warp in those Dark Templar.
Vales
Oh,
is
he
trying
warped
to-
in a single Dark Templar. That'll work. Vale's now going to have to run away here.
Zealot once again harassing the proxy, and oh, he's right next to that base though, but so is Neutrophil. It looks like the armies are going to clash again.
Yeah, he could just, well, I mean...
I see water balloons. Does he have
Neutrophil needs to just warp in Dark Templar.
Zealots? Yeah, Dark
There's
Templar
no
are just
detection here.
expensive.
Of
they
course,
just
I guess
zealots.
he doesn't necessarily know that,
He's
but
got the-
he should kind of know. GG, well played is called.
All right, so we're looking like we're finally going to get off of
Yeah. Whose line is it anyway? This line. For those who know, this line. And we're going to head into map number 3. I believe the decider. I am woefully underprepared.
15-minute match. Neutrophil just took that lead and was there with the whole thing.
And we do have the next map coming up in just a moment. It's going to be tied 1-1, but again, that was Vale's off race versus Neutrophil's main race.
Yeah, I don't
so-
expect him to do that again. I wouldn't, but it was cool. It was a very interesting game. But while we're swapping max, I'm gonna go see if I can grab some.
My co-caster has the munchies, and we'll be back soon. And we're going to head into Ultra Love for map number 3. And I assume it's going to be a PvT this time. Ultra Love, another map I'm not familiar with. I'm woefully underprepared for this. Ugh. Observer ++. I can appreciate that. So we do have our players ready, but Freedom is in the player slot. There we go. And I think we can start. I can solo cast for a couple minutes here until Munchie's man has returned to the building. I'm just flying an airplane here really quick. And I think we're... oh, excuse me. Gonna be good to go in just a moment. And we are loading into Ultra Love.
You are watching FSL.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand side of the map, we have the pink Protoss player. He is...
Neutrophil.
All right, and in the top corner of the map, we have the red Terran once more, coming in to try to clutch this out. It is Vales, or whatever his name is.
That's our camera, buddy.
Yeah, that's the camera. Nice sweet tea, isn't it, though?
Yeah, I mean, the sweet tea looks better than either of us. And we do have an early SCB coming out across the map, probably for that eBay block that has been doing pretty good work
for Vales consistently over these last year and a half or so. And probe coming up in as well. This is a long map, I think.
Yeah, there's not going to be... Oh, I don't think there's going to be any shenanigans, right? Like, surely not, unless that's a bunker rush.
I think just an eBay block.
Yeah, just an eBay block.
The classic. Neutrophil does not seem... Well, no, he's coming down
The Vales
right at the right timing.
He could just tase that SCV into leaving, too.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to pull like 3 probes or something like that. Down right here. We'll see if he does. It looks like he doesn't, but that's okay. It's been a while. I'm not exactly sure what the ideal optimal response is. I think that scouting probe should definitely, in theory, be helping with eBay. And it will.
Looks like he's gonna make sure the SCV is left.
It's not. It is. It's not. It
He
is.
is doing...
He loves me. He loves me not happening right here with these probes.
The SCV...
The SCV.
Cheeky little SCV there.
Yeah, very cheeky indeed. But I mean, it hasn't actually delayed the Nexus yet. I mean, it has because he's made a Zealot, I guess. So, why are you pulling a probe back? You still need to make the Nexus. Oh well. Cybercore will finish up. Warp Gate on the way, and we'll see what tech building he opts for here. It looks like it's probably going to be a Twilight Council if I had to guess. So the gas is a little low for a Stargate. And Nexus will be coming out just a little bit behind schedule. Reaper coming in. There is a Stalker. Hote. Ooh, Reaper might actually.
Stalkers tend to mess
Good, a
Reaper
little
up.
Stalker grenade out of the Reaper there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Normally the Stalker can just like outpace the Reaper, but that grenade.
Yeah. Unfortunately, then just kind of sitting there and accepting his fate. Very nihilistic, as you might expect of a Reaper.
He's on stim packs. You can expect him to be very reasonable.
Yeah, I think he's on more than just stim packs. I think he's on like
Cytokinetic drugs, according to the Marines handbook.
Yeah.
I don't know what that word means, by the way.
Who knows, really? I mean, I don't think the person who wrote that knows what that means. Now, we do have Twilight Council now coming down alongside a robotics facility, triple barracks factory coming down as well. To make more of those siege tanks, it looks like. Big lover of the siege tanks in this series thus far, except for when he played Protoss, was Vales. So
I think he was still loving the siege tanks. He was more pining for them when he was playing Protoss.
Yeah, forlornly wishing for siege tanks there. Like, I think you got to admit the Zealot proxy would be much stronger if there were siege tanks backing up instead of photon cannons. So,
I mean,
someone on the Balance Council needs to get on that.
Got the Twilight Council researching tanks, right?
Yeah, I think that's the thing the Balance Council has been missing in terms of how to balance PvTs, is just give Protoss all the Terran units, but they still have all of their own units, and then they may be able to win a game.
Maybe.
Not very likely, but it's like possible at that point. And we do have Blink on the way, so it's going to be like a bit of a 4-gate Blink, I guess, out of Neutrophil here. I think really Neutrophil could have focused up a little bit more on the eBay response. I know there's a, in theory, optimal response. I'm pretty sure it involves pulling probes.
Yeah.
Like 3 probes to kill that quickly enough so you don't have to get out of Zealot. But what can you do? Third base on the way for Vales already. Very fast, especially considering we do have 4-gate Blink, although there's already Templar Archives on the way behind it, so not a very committed 4-gate Blink, it looks like. But we'd love to see a bunker on the high ground in the near future for Vales, maybe even sniping that Observer that's hovering a siege tank would be good.
And Observer sees a lot. I mean, he could deploy it. I'm not really sure. Because it's not like it's going to get away if Vales decides to get rid of it.
Yeah, the Observer's moving now. Oh, getting in position, but there's a lot of units out.
They are at the top of the ramp, but even so, that bunker will stall long enough.
Yep. This is not looking great for Neutrophil thus far, although he's not very committed on this attack. He's down a lot in supply already.
Is he ahead? He is ahead economically. He does have one more base coming along. Although Vales just finished up with the command center. Never mind. But
I mean, it's interesting because Neutrophil's like 2 leagues higher, or 2 tiers higher in Diamond League than Little Reaper is, but the PvTs thus far, Little Reaper has looked closer to beating Vales, I feel like, than Neutrophil. Which
Not
I think
Blink up there.
Neutrophil very consistently does this kind of like Blink Warp Prism move in PvT, so maybe getting a little bit too predictable.
But he's
I
got
feel
that
like he did
storm
this in
coming.
their
He
final
wasn't using
series last
Templar
time.
earlier.
That's true. That's true.
That was a big power behind Little Reaper. So maybe if he mixes the storm with his large numbers of Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, and his, Warp Prism harassment is very good, so maybe he can take those ideas and kind of enhance them. Also, I'm loving the doodads on this map, the blue swirly and red swirly things. I mean,
It looks like, oh man, I'm not really sure what it looks like. It looks like conduit wires, like like the mesh wires you find in computer cases.
right,
But glowing.
It's pretty darn cool. This is a very cool map. Third base, floating down.
And if Neutrophil was only blue, he'd be on the appropriate color sign for his map. Vales is. He's synchronized to the red.
Yeah, Vale's color coordinating with the map. Love to see it. 5 more barracks dropping down. Production City coming out here. As not a lot happening for Neutrophil on his side of the map at the moment. Only 1 zealot in production now. Nothing on the production tab. No probes. Really would love to see some probes. Gateway.
Two
Couple
gateways.
gateways coming down. I guess doing some
His forge.
production explosion, as they
2
call
forge.
it.
Okay, but even so, I think Vales does have a small lead for now.
Yeah, 2 gateways, 2 forges makes sense, but expect we'll see an attack in the near future from Vales, as he's going to want to leverage the army advantage he does have.
I wonder if he couldn't send a probe out to that zone line in time. Let him lock down that corner of the map.
Is already getting cloak ghosts out to try and deal with the High Templar here. Armory on the way, so we can start a +2 attack as soon as
How many
+1
Templar
finishes.
are there currently, actually? How long have they been built?
There are 4 High Templar, and I think they're pretty recent. Honestly.
Well, there is the Nexus for crying out.
Yeah, the Nexus energy charge is an option.
But I think you'd only do that if you saw an attack coming or something. You may as well save the energy for economic purposes otherwise.
Yeah, I'd love to see a 4th base coming down for Neutrophil in the near future here, as he's already getting ready to swap into Colossus tech, which I do like, not sitting on the High Templar tech too long here. Oh, but his army may catch.
Oh,
Vales on the move, and it catches him on the move indeed.
The tanks, they were all on the wrong side.
Yeah, hitting the tanks with the main army right off the bat.
That's
Big
a half a
storm,
dozen
but
Marines dead in that storm.
I would love to see a storm covering the retreat path there, but still,
that
an
storm
excellent engagement there. Should have pushed into the 3rd, is now, I think, so that's good. High Templar are sort of naturally split up. There is a single EMP available
And a
on the
single
Terran
tank.
army.
But if that EMP gets... Oh! He only hit one of the Templar.
Yeah, and a
Mid-storm
zealot
enemy.
flank on the siege tank, by the way, does kill.
Dang, he just
the tank.
ripped him up.
Yeah, an excellent engagement out of Neutrophil there. I think he had an observer scouting that army move out from Vales. But perfectly. Excellent engagement. 25.
4th base is line, 3rd base is flying. Boom.
3rd base is getting out of dodge, and a massive storm once again. Excellent plays here out of Neutrophil, who looks to be...
That storm, I think it made all the difference, really.
large and in charge in this game. I don't want to say winning quite yet, but is looking
That Templar
very
might
good.
have the next storm.
He's even mostly macroing on the back end.
Yep,
Big
there goes the
storm
next
once
storm.
again. Would love to see a little bit of target fire on the Nexus, or on the floating command center burning potentially, although it'll be prepared. So
Okay,
Good
okay.
opportunity there.
Vales was doing. I think Vales was thrown a little off by the storm, but I think he adapted pretty well to hold on. Make his natural if you're doing zealots though. Make those.
I'd love to just see a back out
Yeah,
of Neutrophil.
backs out. I think he was just covering the Archon, making sure that investment was safe.
Still up 30 supply is Neutrophil on the back end of that.
And here come more Immortals and stuff.
With the fourth base on the way, +2/+2 on the way. Vales does have only +1. He never
it's not
started
even researching.
+2.
And I think he only has the one eBay, so even if he starts now, he'll be behind.
He'll be heavily behind, and he
Extended
actually made
thermal
his
lance.
armory to go. Oh no, he does have double eBay, but he'd only be able to get +2/+1. He made the armory for that +2 forever ago, and never actually.
That's
started
something
it.
I've done before, but I almost always do is I build the armory and I never make +2.
Need to see some probes moving down from the main base to saturate that fourth, or the gases on the third for Neutrophil. That's the only real complaint I have here, though, is he's up 50 supply. Or no, sorry,
Colossus with extended thermal lance soon.
40 supply up, continuing to grow that lead. And yeah, getting
Batteries
Colossus.
everywhere.
The big thing is there's just no real answer for the Colossus on the Terran side of the map. He doesn't have Vikings, doesn't have Liberators.
Marauders could, but they're going to get ripped up by the Immortals or something crazy.
Yeah, there's what, 4 Immortals out at this point? 5 Immortals with soon to be +2/+2. And the
here
Warp into the
comes
main base now
Zealots.
coming right as he's moving out onto the map because
And
the
he
Observer's
catches him.
following him the whole time. Caught him with his pants down, and Zealot's now ravaging the main base of Vales, who had to pull all his SBs down to the natural base.
Oh, if he target fires that ghost, that could be a serious loss.
Zealots get the kill
Ouch.
on the Ghosts as well, so getting value even as they die.
And extended thermal is done, so Neutrophil's got everything running just how he wants it to. I think he's
Extended Thermal Lance, soon to be 3 Colossi, +2/+2, not far off, well ahead of the upgrades of Vales. And Vales now going to make a final push, I believe. Still, I think an Observer following his army, by the way, has not spotted that. Usually pretty good about spotting the Observers, but not this game.
Well, the EMP is the Archon, but there's Templar still out, and that's going to fit him.
Still
Oh, that
Templar.
Colossus is just idling
It's
down
the
there.
feedbacks because he has full vision of everything going on, and Vales here looking pretty hopeless here.
More
Down
ghosts.
56 supply, more Zealots in the main base.
And he's going to be down his upgrades soon, too. Well, he's going to be down in armor.
Yeah, it's going to be 2-2 versus 2-1, and
Not that terrible, but armor is really good against Marines.
yeah, for sure. And the Observer's still just following every single move this
That
army
little
makes.
jerk.
That's been like the same Observer all game. Finally does
finally.
get sniped.
That Observer may not have a weapon, but he's got dozens of kills.
Vale's not happy about that one, as we do have third base still not saturated on the gases, I don't think. I'd love to see that. He built the
He also has the production to back
gases,
him
but
up.
never did
but
anything with it.
dang.
Oh, only half of his army fighting the full might of the Protoss
Triple
army.
Colossus this time.
Triple Colossus.
Doesn't even need Storm.
Burning its way through everything, and I think
Backs are going
if
down.
this is a best of 3, and if he loses here, Vales is going to be kicking himself for playing Protoss.
It was a sporting move, but it was not a strategic.
GG, well played, or well played.
We can get you on camera for the interviews, maybe.
Ah, yes. Let me reinitiate that. Okay.
We're back.
How do we look? Hopefully visible. Well, that is a wrap for that match there. Neutrophil managing to pull it out against Vales there, 2-1. How are you feeling about that victory?
Seems to be a pattern where I come back after losing that first game, but yeah, I don't know. Those were some pretty scary games. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of panicking a bit the second one, but I mean, my game plan was just kind of keep the pressure up because I know mechanically I'm not as sound as I used to be. So, I mean, I felt like I did that pretty well.
Yeah, I think definitely game 3, the start did not go, I think, the way you would have liked. The pressure didn't really do much with the Blink Stalkers, and but relying on Storms to kind of keep you alive there, and then getting up into the Colossi, getting that tech switching in, I think was the big thing that, like, you know, Little Reaper in the last series is missing, right? It was just all High Templar all day, and eventually, you know, the Ghosts are just going to get a good EMP off, and then you're kind of dead in the water. So good tech switching there. Good harassment with the Warp Prism. I think the 12-minute Observer following the army like the entire game
That man was a
probably
hero.
was a bit of an MVP there, getting you that excellent engagement in the middle of the map about halfway through the game that I think really flipped the game on its head there. So good plays there, good vision, and good engagements, and well done. And Vales, a good attempt. I was saying you're probably kicking yourself a little bit over the Protoss
I
pick
am
in game
really
2.
kicking myself. I don't know why I did that.
Apparently you
I
had
did
Neutrophil
use
scared,
the
though,
win.
so you know. You're scary.
Yeah, I think Neutrophil was just like, you know, anytime anyone's like, I think I'm going to off race, your brain instantly goes, they are definitely cheesing me. So he was all over the map looking for that as soon as he didn't see anything at home, and an early scout as well.
The Storm on game 3, oh my god. I didn't even
Yeah.
know he...
Storm is the
Just
kind of
walk
thing that seizes control of the game and throttles it if you let it.
Yeah, it just takes one really bad engagement versus Storm, it feels like, to kind of just put you on the back foot the rest of the game. But a good run nonetheless. I think that's top 4, if I'm not mistaken. So a solid run, and it'll be, I think I heard Neutrophil going against Dark Menace in the finals now?
Light Hood, and then Dark Menace is waiting for the winner.
Okay, Light Hood. So we'll have to see how that goes. Best of luck to you, Neutrophil, in your next games.
Thank you. Good games.
Best of luck.
All right, guys. GG's. I don't think Light Hood's around. We'll give him some time, you know. And thanks. That's all we have tonight. Appreciate you casting. GG's, guys.
Good games.
Good games.
Thank you.
Starcraft calling from the void. Young and old gamers deployed. FSL battles in the night. Team League warriors take flight. Tearing cell it ready to strike. Surgling swarm under moonlight. Blood off eyes bright as gold. Legend stories brave and bold. Charge the fields ready to fight. Masters of the star shining bright. In the game we find our light. High hearts burning through the night. Turn sailor ready to strike. Masters of the star shining bright. In the game we find our light. High hearts burning through the night. Structures rise, defenses fall. Victory sweet, we answer the call. Tactics sharp and plans precise. We face our fate, roll the dice. Intense drumming, the heartbeat sync. Pop boom screaming on the brink. Tension builds with each move. Proving battles we improve. Charge the fields ready to fight. Masters of the star shining bright. In the game we find our light. High hearts burning through the night. Turn sailor ready to strike. Masters of the star shining bright. In the game we find our light. High hearts burning through the night. High hearts burning through the night. Intense strumming, a heartbeat sync. Pop punk screaming on the brink. Tension builds with each move. Proving battles we improve. Charge the fields ready to fight. Masters of the star shining bright. In the game we find our light. High hearts burning through the night. Turn sailor ready to strike. Masters of the star shining bright. In the game we find our light. High hearts burning through the night.